Hi, this is Shu with a review of the Kyrie Low 4s. Yes, when the first Kyrie Lows came out without, oh, it was after the Kyrie 4s were out, so we thought they were Kyrie 4 Lows, but no, they were just Kyrie Lows, and now we have the Kyrie Low 4s. For the first time, they took out the Zoom Air. We love the Kyrie Low series from the 2 and 3 because they actually had zoom on the heel and the forefoot, which is a rarity these days, a luxury we can't afford, or rather, luxury Nike would not let us afford. What's great about this is even though the zoom is missing, they do have an overall nice little foam cushioning called Cushlon. It's better than EVA, I suppose, but somewhat subpar compared to in terms of when or how they were developed, compared to React or Lunar. They are a little bit of an old-fashioned foam, but they do feel nice. They actually use that for the Zoom BB, which is supposed to be one of the most advanced shoe by Nike. Overall silhouette is very much similar to the Kyrie 7s. The outsole is pretty much identical. Kyrie 7 has an outstanding, a grippy and durable outsole pattern, so that's a very welcome carryover. They do have the European size there for some reason. It's written here, hungry and humble, something that Kyrie isn't. I love how they have this stitch embroidery swoosh on the side, and the upper material is it's the kind of material that you would see in special edition Nike running shoes every now and then, sort of like the quad axle wire that you've seen in the KD12s. They do not specify this is quad axle or whatever special technology, but they do feel nice. They do look nice. They do provide a good amount of support and flexibility. It's sort of like a material. These threads are, fabric or yarn, and the material overall is kind of like a, I won't say fuse, because this little bit is the fuse material. This overall material is sort of like a cross between fabric and plastic, so it's interesting. It's not exactly breathable around the toe box area because they do have a inner booty, sort of like what you can feel here on the tongue, these material around it. So they do provide adequate cushioning, or rather foam coverage here, but that means you're sacrificing a lot of breathability. I wish they could make some holes there to enhance the breathability, but they did not. As you can tell by how the light, when the light is, when you can see it's pretty transparent. The light is just coming through this area. So this little part is completely just the unique upper material there and nothing else. So it's pretty breathable there. Yeah, around the side. So there's a level of ventilation. You could poke some holes here without sacrificing because they do have these quad axle wire type things. They would not jeopardize the, I guess, the overall construction or rigidity or durability of the shoe. That's something I like to do every now and then. I love this little elf shoe nose or elf nose thing that you have here, which is quite sort of firm, so you can kind of slide your foot in without having to pull the tab or the tongue out. Unfortunately, the padding around this area is very minimal, so the heel cup is there, that's good, but the padding is a little bit minimal. The good thing is there's no chafing or anything, nothing that's going to provide any sort of discomfort. Straight out of the box, you can just wear it and shoot around or run around with it without having to worry about blisters. But I wish they would have had a little bit of extra padding around these areas right above the ankle and right around the ankle and above around the Achilles, so it would lock it down a little bit better. But I guess if you go true to size or maybe go down to a very tight, firm fitting size, you won't have that heel slippage issue. But if you maybe wear your shoes a little bit roomy, you might feel that insecurity in the heel. Not as bad as the Harden 5. The Harden 5 is top notch in terms of, I think it can set a Guinness Book of World Records in terms of heel slippage. It's got a heel cup that springs out. Yeah, the fit, I would say go true to size, but for those who tried Kyrie's in the past, and you will always notice that Kyrie's, it's not exactly narrow. Sometimes it runs short, but they always have this issue of this little pinky toe knuckle joint area tightness here. So I always go up half a size or a full size up. It's not as bad as here in the Kyrie Low 4s, but you do feel a bit of a tightness there. So if you're sensitive about that, I would say go up half a size. Other than that, if you have a super narrow foot and you've never had that issue with kyries, go true to size. Or if you have a really narrow foot, you can even go down half a size if you want a very firm, tight fit. But again, the shoes is not exactly the longest shoe out there, so don't worry about going up a few, rather going down a few sizes, or and having the shoe really like dig into your toes. The length is decent. So yeah, it weighs about 370 grams for a size 9.5, so it's pretty much on the lighter side of things. Yeah, even though it doesn't have like a prominent angular outrigger, this bold ball like round area, it's pudgy enough to provide that stoppage or that resistance to prevent ankle rollover. So that's good. Something good that Kyrie series has done. And yeah, what else is there? The cushion. Let's go back to the cushion. The cushioning, again, it's better than most Nike shoes out there with nothing in the heel except some EVA or injected Phylon, which feels like there's pretty much nothing. What they did was they did put cushion in the Kobe 5 and 6 Pro Tros. I guess some people say it feels like it's almost as if there's Zoom air there, but I do not agree. But it's not bad. It's kind of similar to that. It's a little bit more dense than the cushion used in, I think, the Kobe 5 and 6, but it feels pretty good. It feels like there's a decent amount of heel shock absorption or heel cushioning compared to most conventional Nike shoes with nothing on the heel. Like even compared to the Kyrie 7s, I would say this is a little bit more giving in terms of the shock absorption and cushioning. Interestingly, because this is the Kyries, I guess they focus more on providing comfort on the forefoot area. So the forefoot feels a little bit more mushy, a little bit more soft compared to the heel. So that's a good thing. You won't get blisters if you're always on your toes and cutting and moving around and whatnot. But if you tend to step on your heel a lot or land on your heel a lot, then you might have some issues with this compared to other shoes with some Zoom Air or Air Max or type of cushioning here. But definitely better than just having plain old nothing, no-name foam material on the heel like most other Nike shoes out there. Better than those, but slightly inferior to shoes that actually has Zoom Air or Max Air or any kind of advanced cushioning like React or Lunar or whatnot. But it's not bad. One thing I would like to point out is that it's if you tried the full-length cushion shoe setting in the past, like the Kobe 7s, where you could actually switch the midsoles into a full-length cushion, the Kobe 7s had a very mushy cushion. You just feel like it's compressing immediately as you land on the heel, but not so much on the forefoot because they're more or less uniform. So you would have the heel sinking, and that's a no-no. You could actually really hurt your Achilles tendon by overstretching it or putting some weird pressure exertions or stress around that. So in terms of that imbalance, it's not prominent here. You do feel like there's no immediate sinking or compression, super compression on the heel, but I do feel they could have made the heel a little bit thicker. I know they're trying to go overall more low profile, low to the ground, but it feels like heel toe drop is very minimal. It feels like there's like no heel toe drop or pretty straight or very minimal heel toe drop. It's not so bad in such a way that the heel sinks compared to the foot. There is no toe heel drop. But there's not a significant heel toe drop. That's always a big issue for me. It's not too bad, but again, it's something you should consider depending on your style of play and the kind of cushioning you require and the kind of injuries you've had in the past. Price point, pretty decent. Yeah, and it's probably gonna go on sale and they're gonna release a lot of sizes.